clickbait. Here's some shit. Here's some bullshit for the gossipers, for the clickbait. This is Anna Kasparian, Aaron Monte. You know, I did get mad about this in the very beginning, and part of me, you know, says, you know, I made a lot of good points, but then another part of me was like, am I in love with Anna Kasparian? So, you know, I don't want to dive into this as much as I want to do before. In fact, I want to evolve. I want to kind of do politics on a whole nother level. It kind of pisses me off that I have to talk about Anna Kasparian and Aaron Monte just to, you know, get somebody to hear me out. And I want to talk about the New York City mayor's election. That's ranked choice voting, so we need to know as much as we can about all these candidates. And then I also want to talk about Iran's election. But apparently, that's not very popular. I want to talk about the killings that happened in Mexico. I feel like I'm scooping a lot of fucking people, and I don't know why nobody else is talking about this shit. The assassination of the president in Chad. So, okay, Anna Kasparian, Aaron Monte. He was invited to Syria by the Syrian Solidarity Movement. So it seems to be all centered around the Syrian Solidarity Movement. Take a look at who serves on their committee. He thinks I don't look into these things. It's incredible. It's an incredible. I don't know if any one of these are going to knock the other one out. I think ultimately what Anna Kasparian has to prove is this Syrian Solidarity Movement is actually, you know, it's Assad, it's through and through Assad, and it has nothing to do with, you know, Syrian solidarity, caring about the people. It's just about protecting Assad. You really got to show that the Syrian Solidarity Movement isn't about helping the people and, you know, easing their pain or what have you, but it really is, you know, just a fucking tool of the goddamn government or what have you. Now, I believe Aaron Monte's explanation, he makes a distinction between being invited and being paid. So he was invited by the Syrian Solidarity Movement, so apparently he got a visa. He got a visa from these people and then spent his own money in order to go make the trip. And he said it was, hell yeah, it's the trip of a lifetime. So I can understand. I can see Aaron Monte's position. I can kind of see Aaron Kasparian's position. I'm not sure what had started all this. I mean, that tweet or whatever, right? Whatever. Gene Ugard put out that tweet that religion is stupid, and then Aaron Monte said, "Nuh-uh, religion is smart," or something. I don't know. So I'm actually gonna. This is gonna be more of a diplomatic, and I'm not gonna make it entertaining whatsoever. So. And then we'll talk about For the People Act, and I hope y'all click on that shit, motherfuckers. Remember when Aaron Monte was in Syria on behalf of a pro-Assad group and lied about Yarmouk being bombed by ISIS instead of the Assad regime? Yarmouk was being bombed by ISIS? I'm sure the constant Assad cover-ups is just a coincidence. There were two tweets, actually. I don't know. I look at the drama, but I feel like, can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? And frankly, we should add about 50 forced votes. And so where the fuck have you been, Jimmy Dore? Just grifting, right? Just, look at me, I'm on YouTube, right? So conservative, keep things the same, right? Make sure that the YouTube, make sure people keep laughing, keep on clicking. I wonder if he's got to keep snorting fucking, you know, crack cocaine or whatever to keep on, everything's fucked up. If everything's so fucked up, how's your internet so goddamn good? You know, fucking Belarus cut the fucking internet. These dictators cut internet. So if the internet does get cut, hell, that might be the best thing for the YouTube fucking community. Figure out, you know, your place in the world, motherfuckers. Yeah, you a god. You a god on YouTube, but, Aaron Monte's, you know, they have like this meme where the Abu is jumping in front, which is kind of racist. Aaron Monte is jumping in front of the Trump campaign. Department of Justice is about to shoot the guy, so it's making it look like Aaron Monte is just defending all these people. Here he's defending Russia against every conceivable legitimate criticism of Russia. Here he's defending Assad against the OPCW. Here he's defending Assad against election monitors. Again, it's a meme, just a picture, you know, of The Simpsons, a cartoon by Max Putenthal. Max at Axe Blumenthal, and then here's one where Aaron Kasparian's like, you know, flipping. So both of those, right, one's against Anna, one's against Aaron, and they both kind of made me laugh. I think this situation will resolve itself. Ultimately, you know, Aaron Mate and Anna Kasparian, you should have a beer summit. You should have a beer summit. You should try to find a moderator that would say, okay, what's your position and what's your position? I'm not going to believe that Aaron Mate is, you know, his soul, his core is a piece of shit. He might be a useful idiot or get caught up in some crazy shit if that Syrian solidarity group turns out to be as nefarious as Anna Kasparian says that it is. Because that's what and I'm not convinced that right now that's the case. So let's see here. Says, Aaron Mate did, you know, put out a bunch of stuff, but it kind of, like, I just want to ask them direct questions and get direct answers from them. So this is Aaron Mate. He says, yes, the Syrian Solidarity Movement members did invite me, which I'm grateful for. You should look at what they do, humanitarian work at U.S. sanctions, as U.S. sanctions devastate Syria. So he's saying that the Syrian Solidarity Movement, they do good humanitarian work. So the SSM, they do good humanitarian work. So he's defending them, saying they're a good organization. Pro-Assad, they do humanitarian work. U.S. sanctions are devastating Syria, which are true. Fuck them U.S. sanctions. Fuck the dirty wars. Fuck the occupation. He's consistent on that. He once gave a platform to Peter Ford, a former British ambassador who's now part of another pro-Assad lobby group, which is headed by Assad's father-in-law, and casually forgot to mention that fact. This is Kostya. At Kostya, and then unsurprisingly, Ford made demonstrably false claims about chemical attacks in Syria, which Aaron also forgot to challenge him on. There was one criticism. They were pointing out that the Assad regime, Papa Assad, was just terrible and just awful and brutalized, and, you know, nobody questions his terribleness. He was a mass murderer, mass rapist, or whatever. He was just a terrible. And so somebody said that Aaron Mate is just an expert on the chemical attacks, but not really, you know, the Assad regime. So he's more of a chemical guy, right? All about those chemical attacks. And then I'll also say this. The one story, the big fucking chemical attack, what we're being made to believe that the chemical attack didn't happen, and the reason why we know that because the aftermath was staged, which is, that seems fucking insane to me. The aftermath was staged. So you had a chemical attack. Was the CIA, did they do the chemical attack? Because who did the chemical attack? The aftermath, the U.S. flew victims into Duma with chemical burns and shit, and that was that seems so fucking weird, false flag. The aftermath was staged. It's all a bunch of bullshit. The only thing I could say to that is that, you know, journalists try to make the thing look a lot fucking worse and shit, and even if it's, so, SSM, Syria Solidarity Movements, did invite me, which I'm grateful for. You should look at what they do, humanitarian work as U.S. sanctions devastate Syria. I don't know about Peter Ford. I didn't look too much into the Syrian Solidarity Movement, right? Aaron Mate got his visa, however he got his visa. How does anybody get their visa? Jesus Christ, let the journalists fucking, you know, do their journalist shit. We need an Aaron Mate. We need an opposition journalist. Let's just make Aaron Mate the opposition journalist premier in America when it comes to Syria. It might sound like everything he says is pro-Assad, but he's saying the war is bad, fuck the war, cut the purse strings, America. So let's just make him the honorary, you know, he gets to be as fucking shitty as he wants to be when it comes to the war in Syria. He is the, you know, the journalist who, just his ideas, he's just against the war, right? So, lied about Yarmouk. I don't know who this Yarmouk is. I don't know who this Peter Ford is. A journalist funded by the Syrian state, and then somebody says as opposed to other journalists funded by the CIA or the CIA. A journalist funded by the Syrian state. Yeah, look at these journalists. The Washington Post, right? I think the Washington Post takes like a big CIA check. Aaron Mate may be ignoring that the Assad family is a dynasty and it's more brutal than the Korean dynasty. They ruled Syria with an iron and blood long before the chemicals. They killed, displaced millions of Syrians. Killed and displaced millions in order to stay in power, but Mate is specialist in chemical only. I think that's okay. Aaron Mate says that Syria is a tightly controlled police state. So Aaron Mate isn't, you know, going around saying that Syria is the bee's knees, the greatest place. You know, it's not Disney World. It's not the happiest place on earth. Syria, according to Aaron Mate, is a tightly controlled police state. Those political prisoners, Aaron Mate says. So people in Syria go to jail for challenging Assad. They challenge the government, they get thrown in jail. That's a tightly controlled police state. Hell, one might even say it's a totalitarian dictatorship. Aaron Mate also wrote that the Syrian Solidarity Movement did not send him to Syria. Got him a visa, but he paid for it with his own money, and so he got himself to Syria. Now, this is from the website. The Syria Solidarity Movement is possibly the only U.S. tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit other than the United Nations to provide humanitarian aid in all of Syria other than the terrorist-controlled areas of Idlib province. This is because we provide the aid ourselves, not through partnerships with Syrian organizations, which is forbidden by the U.S. Imposed international economic sanctions against Syria. So this is a U.S. nonprofit. What state? 501c3? How can we have a U.S. nonprofit 501c3 fucking group that's pro-Assad? That seems like they would have got their corporate charter pulled a long fucking time ago. Are you allowed to have goddamn corporations that, you know, fucking Saddam Hussein incorporated? You know, goddamn Kim Jong-il incorporated? Can you just have a 501c3 where you just, well, I really, you know, support the goddamn Korean totalitarian regime. I just really want them to be financed. You can't set up an American nonprofit to do that. That sounds fucking ridiculous, and it sounds like they would get their shit pulled if, you know, if they was as bad, I think, as Anna Kasparian wants them to be, right? Basically, Mate is, you know, working against the American people. He's a spy. This whole treasonous McCarthy thing. You know, I'm looking into it. She's, you know, several times. I'll say this, too, in Anna's defense. You know, I don't like how she goes, you know, fuck Aaron Mate, fuck Aaron Mate. What happened to the violence? I don't hear anybody on that side talking about the violence, right? So the violence that, you know, Anna Kasparian put on Aaron Mate, is it violence? Is that violence to say fuck you to somebody? Fuck you? Because I feel like it's, I don't know. I think it's actually intelligent and smart, and people don't speak for your interest, and they say the opposite fucking things. They think you're so fucking goddamn smart. You want a tiny little bit of fucking validation, and it's like they want to take every goddamn thing from you. So what the fuck are you supposed to do? The Syria Solidarity Movement is possibly the only U.S. tax-exempt. This is because we provide the aid ourselves, not through partnerships. So there you go. So Syria Solidarity Movement is providing humanitarian aid to all of Syria, and they're not in the Idlib province, which I heard was controlled by the Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra and, you know, the fucking 51 flavors of, you know, terrorists or what have you. So, not in Idlib, right? So they're not connected to the Idlib terrorists. This is on their own webpage, so, you know, I didn't really dig too much. Now, this is the same group that gives out award money to pro-Assad content creators. The award is known as the Serena Shim Award. Wasn't Serena Shim a journalist that got killed for no reason? Serena Shim? Who is Serena Shim? You know, I like the idea that somebody remembered a journalist's name, Serena Shim. So, Serena Shim is a Lebanese-American journalist for Press TV. I'm glad somebody is remembering who Serena Shim is. She was covering the siege of Kobane as a war correspondent. She was killed in a car crash in Surak 2 days after she reported that Turkish intelligence had accused her of spying. So, Serena Shim knew some shit was fucking going down, tried to tell people, got killed in a fucking car crash. Whoops, right? The Turkish intelligence said that she was spying. Holy fuck. I mean, that's a hell of a charge. Let's keep on going here. Serena Shim. I like Serena Shim. So you putting money behind the idea of Serena Shim. Let's always remember Serena Shim. Here's Aaron Mate admitting that he accepted money from them too while defending Jimmy Dore taking money. I don't know who the group is. So again, I mean, you got to really, they give out an award, and even if they lean towards Assad, I mean, they really got to be in the fucking pocket of Assad. You got to have Assad shaking the hands of the person and putting money in their pocket and patting their head or some shit. Because I can't imagine a nonprofit group being allowed to raise money for war against America or something. Nomiki, I've gotten this award too, so I don't know. This is Aaron Mate talking to Nomiki, and I don't know if he's just saying that Nomiki got the award or whatever, but Aaron Mate got the award, so basically every journalist associated with anti-imperialism, laugh out loud, gets this award. Assadist is a slur against people who oppose or just acknowledge the U.S. and allies waging a murderous proxy war on Syria and imposing sadistic sanctions after they lost. And while he tries to cover up the real purpose of this group with arguments about how they just fight for peace, it's worth noting who serves on their committee. Its treasurer, Paul LaRudy, describes himself as a former U.S. advisor to Saudi Arabia. The Syria Solidarity Movement established 2013. I don't know Paul LaRudy, and America's fucking, the president is allies with fucking Saudi Arabia. So the treasurer of some profit is, of some non-profit is connected to Saudi Arabia. The entire U.S. fucking government. Remember 9/11? Remember how the U.S. government went ahead and just, covered up Saudi Arabia's crimes, continues to cover up Saudi. I would so much rather, fuck the Yemen genocide, the Iran, Syria, fucking Palestine. I'm not an imperialist, but Saudi Arabia has needed to be invaded fucking, 20 years ago. Talk about the central hub for terrorism. That's where the 9/11 terrorists came out of, probably financed by the fucking oligarchs, if not outright by the government. They fucking kill, they're oppressive to women. They kill, atheists, and just fucking, they behead the fucking machete motherfuckers in public. Saudi Arabia is just fucking terrible. Syria Solidarity Movement established in 2013 to facilitate a speaking tour for Mother Agnes. Mother Agnes is a pro-Assad nun who argued that the hundreds of victims of a 2013 Ghouta sarin attack were planted by anti-government insurgents and not killed by the state. Eric the Red at Real Eric for real, not to be that guy, but invite and sin aren't necessarily the same thing. Aaron Mate says this. Anna thinks that since she's both a progressive and a journalist, and so don't expect her to grasp the difference between invite and sent. She's both a progressive and journalist. I'm not for sure what he means by that, because you can be both progressive and a journalist. I don't understand. Is that supposed to be a contradiction or something? Or I'm not for sure. But you're very consistent at self-parody. Do you get the difference between inviting someone and sending someone? You were invited, sent, and paid to do NATO PR in Munich. I was invited by people who could get me a visa so I could travel and cover it myself, and I seized the opportunity. So I believe Aaron Mate. I believe Aaron Mate. This, this shit just keeps on going, these exchanges. I think it's just, you got to get the last word in. If you say the last word, then you're the person. And then there's like a whole fucking culture about getting ratioed and shit, and if you get likes and dislikes, and I don't know. Maybe if you're like good at it and shit, but frankly, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I would love to be a part of the dialogue. But, yeah, those are my thoughts with the, Kasparian and